It was a cool autumn evening outside. It was drizzling with a cold light rain. Anna was standing alone at the bus stop and waiting for the minibus. She was then 21 years old. Then a guy approached the bus stop. They looked at each other several times and he decided to get to know the girl. She didn't mind, since she didn't have a boyfriend at that time, and this one seemed pretty cute to her. She talked to him. His name was Nozo. Then they exchanged numbers, missed several minibus, and he suggested that she go to a cafe to warm up. It alarmed the girl a little, but his ardent gaze and hot hands beckoned her. The young people had dinner and Nozo offered her a ride home. Anna, of course, agreed. They left the cafe. It was already quite late and he said that he would rather take the girl home. Anna was a little scared at first, but at that moment she completely trusted him. That's how naive and trusting she was at that time. Nozo and Anna approached his car. It was quite an expensive car, which the girl really liked. Already knowing that no one had given her flowers for a long time, the boy stopped by to pick up a large and beautiful bouquet of roses, and then took her home. At that moment, Anna had already fallen in love with him. They said goodbye. But the very next morning, Nozo called Anna and offered to have breakfast together. Of course, the girl gladly agreed. Thus began a new page of her life. Nozo constantly gave her expensive gifts, complimented her, took her to restaurants. At that moment, she already considered herself completely one with him. And how happy her parents were for their daughter. They said that under no circumstances should she lose such a chance. The girlfriends openly envied that not everyone manages to find a wealthy guy with a car and an apartment who would truly love. Anna was completely overwhelmed by it all and very happy. 6 months later, Nozo proposed to Anna and she, of course, agreed. They had a luxurious wedding. There were many guests. On their honeymoon, the young couple went abroad, visited several countries. Anna felt the happiest. Time passed, the bouquet period has long passed, and the daily routine has begun. It happened that the newlyweds quarreled, but always reconciled romantically. Every day, the husband took his wife to the university, and then picked up the couple. All her classmates envied her, and she took it as a normal concern. In the evenings, they watched their favorite movies together. They really liked spending their free time together. Later, Anna got a job in one of the big consulting companies. Her husband reacted to this quite specifically. He was generally against the fact that his wife was working somewhere, but she was getting more and more bored and wanted some variety. Nozo, on the other hand, did not want the attention of his beloved to go to someone else, but he also understood well that a woman simply needs work because she is bored at home with household chores. Every day, Anna devoted more and more time to work, but, remembering those pleasant moments of the bouquet period, she continued to love her husband with all her soul and tried to cook him something delicious. And Nozo loved his wife very much. Once, he even made her jealous of a clothing store salesman. But Anna told him not to invent anything like that, as she is faithful to him and loves him infinitely. Thus passed a year of their joint life. Anna received a promotion at work, both in terms of career and financial growth. She looked at her employees and saw female envy in their eyes, because not everyone had such success in life. One has, the man drank heavily, in the other, he beat the woman. And Anna's family had complete harmony and mutual understanding. But she didn't admit to anyone that she was bored and somehow fresh with her husband. Once Anna was walking down the corridor and a guy greeted her. They looked at each other with interest, he smiled and went on. The girl then did not attach any importance to it. A few days later, the same situation happened again. A little later, they were together at a conference and suddenly their eyes met. They looked at each other for several seconds without taking their eyes off. His gaze pierced Anna. He smiled and looked away, and warmth ran through her. On that day, a new page of her life began, but she did not know about it yet. Anna and the stranger greeted each other for several weeks, but due to shyness, the girl did not dare to meet him, and he was most likely stopped by the wedding ring on her right hand. Having dared to do so, Anna tried to hint to him that she was open to acquaintances, but he did not dare to take the first step. This guy was mysterious to her, his look made her body feel like ants, his smile made her heart so warm. Sometimes, having met him, a girl could not tune into work for half a day. Nothing happened, all thoughts were only about just talking to him, but at the same moment Anna remembered that the person she is married to was waiting for her at home. This feeling of hopelessness tore her from the inside. She could not do anything with herself. On one side, a beloved man, and on the other, a stranger. Anna then decided to take a break. She took a vacation, and she and her husband went on vacation abroad. She tried not to think about the boyfriend from work, and everything seemed to work out. 2 weeks flew by unnoticed. When she went to work after her vacation, she met a guy at work, but she remained silent in response to his greetings. She tried to behave coldly and proudly. And one day, it just so happened that Anna was walking home alone, and here he was. She tried not to pay attention to him, but the boy suddenly spoke to her. The gift of speech was taken away from the girl. She did not know what to do, what to say, and in general it was extremely unexpected for her. Anna remained silent, not succumbing to the temptation to speak to him, and only quickened her pace. He was walking behind and must have thought what a fool she was. Not being able to stand it for long, she turned back several times and still found the strength to talk to him. That's how they met. His name was Roman. He took the girl to the subway and went in an unknown direction. Anna's mood rose so much that she wanted to sing and dance. She did not feel like a married woman, but that naive student standing at the bus stop. She could not do anything with herself. She was so warm in her soul until the moment when her husband called. The next morning, Anna got up earlier, did her daily chores and began to beautify herself, while her husband did not suspect anything. He must have thought that his wife was crazy to wake up so early and just continued to sleep. The woman quickly gathered herself and went to work. Arriving at the workplace, she saw some candies and a note, "I'm in the kitchen." She dropped everything and ran there. And then they together with Roman drank tea, talked about all kinds of interesting topics, told stories from their childhood, joked, flirted. She felt so good that she did not even pay attention to how quickly time flew by, during which her husband had already managed to call several times. To be honest, at that moment Anna didn't care about her husband or her work. She just really wanted to hear the pleasant voice of her new acquaintance. The girl was not herself all day, no, one could understand her mysterious good mood. Towards the end of the day, Roman offered her a walk. She agreed. But in the evening, all these romantic plans were broken by Nozo, who came to pick up Anna at work. The woman was forced to go home with her husband, without explaining anything and without saying goodbye to Roman. Her thoughts were on him all the way, and he wanted to know why she didn't wake him up to take her to work. He was always worried about his wife. Tried to give her all the care and attention. And he could not understand anything at all when he saw tears in his eyes. And Anna was crying because she really wanted to spend time with Roman now. She did not want to go home, she was simply fed up with her husband. Resenting Nozo for taking her home like that, when she wanted to be with another interesting man, Anna was silent the whole way, and tears flowed down the river. She felt like a child whose new toy was taken away. She thought only of Roman. About his voice, his look, his smile. She felt like a real woman who made men interested in her. And she liked it. At home, in order to at least somehow take revenge on Nozo for the ruined evening, she couldn't think of anything better than to go to bed separately from her husband. She wanted nothing more than to get to work as soon as possible. When Anna started to fall asleep, a message from Roman came to her phone. "Beautiful, don't worry, everything will be fine." Her heart immediately felt warm and she could not fall asleep for another hour. Nozo could not understand what happened to his wife. Sometimes she smiles happily at him, then she cries in the car. The man decided that he would definitely find out what the matter was. The next morning, Nozo brought Anna to work and stood under the office for about half an hour. What he was waiting for there, the woman did not know, but she was not interested, since new candies were waiting on the table. Breakfast again, Roman again, good mood again. Beloved boy did not ask anything about yesterday and Anna did not want to say anything. They sat in the kitchen, listened to music, discussed various interesting stories. Things were getting better. In the evening, the lovers managed to go for a walk. It was an unusual evening. They walked in the park, ate cotton candy, laughed, collected leaves, and enjoyed every second spent together. Time passed. Anna became more and more distant from her husband every day. She was no longer interested in him. And her lover, it seemed to her, understood her with half a word, paid attention to all the little things, did not bother her, loved her, and she loved him. It was already something serious. Anna constantly thought about Roman, remembered every detail, every word he said. Some time passed and Anna's birthday cake. She was looking forward to going to work. She did not need gifts, because the most important gift was already there. But in the morning, Anna received a gift from her husband. It was a brand new phone and a huge bouquet of roses. Nozor congratulated his beloved wife, began apologizing for the fact that, perhaps, he pays very little attention to her and promised that from this day everything will be as it was at the first meeting. The husband tried very hard to return the former happiness in the family and the former Anna. But he didn't even suspect that she no longer needed everything as it was then, she was already satisfied with what was now. She had no feelings for him. Absolutely nothing. The only thing holding her back was a stamp in her passport and the lack of her home. The man took away the old phone and said that she no longer needed it. Arriving at work, Anna saw a box of her favorite candies and daisies on her desk. She walked around the office, but did not meet Roman anywhere. In turn, the woman was greeted by colleagues, but he was nowhere to be found. It's like a holiday, but somehow it's not a holiday for her. And then a message arrives at lunch. Anna, dropping everything, ran to Roman. And he took her hand and locked himself in the toilet with her. Before she could understand anything, his hot lips began to kiss her passionately. It was the first kiss in so many months of dating. The woman felt butterflies in her stomach when Roman kissed her neck, when his hands held her waist, stroked her hair. She betrayed Nozor in the toilet, but did not notice anything around. Anna was so happy and in a daze that she didn't care if they were caught or if they told her husband. Nozor gave his wife a phone for a reason. He installed a surveillance program in it, with the help of a friend. The husband wanted to know what was happening with his wife. Now he already saw all these messages in Anna's old phone. Did his beloved find a lover? Nozor could not believe it, although he had already reread the lover's correspondence many times. He has to see for himself, because suddenly it is some kind of mistake. With such a program on the phone, it was not difficult for Nozor to establish the location of his beloved in a large room. He realized that she was in the toilet. It was confusing that for some reason it took a long time for women's affairs. Unnoticed, he decided to wait for her at the other end of the corridor. And suddenly he saw that his beloved wife went out into the corridor not alone, but with her lover. They adjusted their clothes and shared a quick kiss that left no doubt as to what these traitors had been up to. And where else? Nozor remained standing still. He could not believe his eyes. The man could not breathe. A sudden chest pain made it impossible to breathe. Barely shuffling, Nozor walked away. He realized that he never wanted to see this traitor again. Slowly his body began to overflow with anger. The man really wanted to go back and beat Anna and her lover to death. But it would be a very light punishment for them. And he himself would not like to spend his life in prison. Already, sitting in a secluded place in the park, where he himself did not notice how he came. The man understood how he could punish Anna. He was pushed to this plan, strangely enough, by a drug addict who, hiding behind a tree, injected some abomination into my vein. Nozor knew that most of them had an incurable disease. So, now let fate decide everything. After work, Anna and Roman walked in the park, enjoying each other. Suddenly, Nozor came out to meet them. The woman was very scared. It turned out that the man already knew everything. He said he is filing for divorce and right now she can go wherever she wants. Then, of course, Roman could not resist and hit his opponent hard in the face. Anna was trying to pull Nozor away from her lover when she felt a sting in her arm. But everything seemed to be normal, so the woman did not pay attention to it then. Anna and Roman have been living together in a rented apartment for 3 months. She heard that Nozor left the country permanently after the divorce. Today she came to the doctor's appointment because a week ago the couple found out that the woman was pregnant. In the study, an elderly woman looked at Anna strangely. Then she said, "What are you planning to give birth to with such a disease? AIDS is not a joke to you. It's forever." First, they walk to the right and left with everyone in a row, then the brains are turned on. After that, Anna did not hear what the doctor was saying. She was so ashamed that she didn't know what to think. And suddenly her last meeting with Nozo appeared in her imagination. It turns out that her husband punished her for treason for the rest of her life. The woman realized that only a nightmarish existence awaited her ahead of her for what she had done so meanly to Nozo.